I'm Nikki, a software engineer in Written Labs team. In this video, we're going to go through how Agentica actually works under the hood, how it keeps everything TypeScript, scalable, and easy to maintain. Let's dive in. AI agents typically interact with external tools through a process known as function calling. This involves the agents interpreting a user's request, selecting the appropriate predefined functions, extracting necessary parameters, executing the functions, and then generating a response based on the function's output. This method enables AI systems to extend their capabilities beyond their initial training data by integrating with external API and services. At the heart of this process is the LLM function called schema, a structured definition that tells a large language model how to invoke a function. This schema contains everything a model needs to execute the functions reliably, such as function name, its parameter, and their type, and a natural language description. But here's the catch. Creating and maintaining these schemas is often where the problem begins. It not only makes a function call unreliable, but also creates a poor developer experience. And as your code base grows, the scaling becomes harder and harder. These challenges are exactly what Agentica aims to solve by shifting the burden to compiler. Instead of relying on vulnerable handwritten schemas, Agentica uses a compiler-driven development approach to automate everything at the type level. But before we dive in how Agentica amazingly does that, let's take a quick look at how this is usually done in most AI frameworks. In traditional AI agent frameworks, developers often have to manually write JSON schemas or definitions for each function. You might need to define a function name, parameters, and return format in a special configuration. Let's say we have a weather service class. It provides a few weather-related methods like getWeather, getAverageTemperature, and convert Celsius to Fahrenheit. Now, suppose you want to let an LLM use this service. What's the first thing you need to do? That's right, you need to write a function schema. And to do that, let's use one of the most popular schema generation tool, Zod. Even though you've already written clean TypeScript types and added helpful comments, but that's not enough. Those are just types and comments, and LLM doesn't understand types and comments. So now you have to do is manually recreate all of that using Zod. Okay, not too bad so far, right? But what if something changes? Let's say somebody in your team updated the getWeather function to take the city name instead of a latitude and longitude. Or maybe you add a new parameter like timestamp, so it can return the weather for a specific time. Now, your LLM function schema is out of sync with your actual implementation. So what do you have to do? Yes, that's right, go back to schema and fix the schema manually again. Meaning, you're not just updating your actual code, but also you have to remember to update the Zod schema too, every single time when the changes are made. So yeah, I guess I don't need to explain more about how bad this approach is. Agentica takes a very different approach. It eliminates the need for handwritten schemas entirely. Instead, it uses the TypeScript compiler to generate the exact function calling schema directly from your actual code. How? The magic happens through a library called Typia. Typia is a TypeScript transformer tool that can analyze types and generate code and schemas. Agentica uses Typia LLM application method to generate the JSON schemas for LLM function calling based on your TypeScript classes. This triggers Typia to inspect your class's structure. At the compile time, it reads the function names, parameter types, and return types, essentially all the type information and even the JSDoc comments you've written for those methods. From this, Typia automatically produces a complete function callable schema for each method. So let's go back to our weather service example. If you've already written detailed type definitions and added good comments in your source code, guess what? You're done. You don't need to write a separate schema. You don't need to duplicate anything. All you do is pass your weather service into Typia LLM application as a generic type and specify the model that you want to use. Let's say ChatGPT, and that's it, you're done. So let's say, oh, the getWeather function got changed. No worries, the schema is already up to date. You had some typo mistakes in convert Celsius to Fahrenheit, so you need to rename the function. No problemo, the LLM already uses the right one. Feel that difference? To a whole new level of developer experience? Way smoother, way more enjoyable. When everything is generated automatically from the single source of truth, which is your code, of course. You don't have to babysit schemas anymore. The philosophy is that LLM function call schemas should be derived from the source code, not written by developers manually. By letting the compiler handle schema generation, we ensure two big advantages. No schema errors, no duplicate definitions. Because Agentica relies on your actual code and its documentation, your main responsibility as a developer is simple. Write high-quality function with clear JSDocs. Think like an open source developer. When building open source libraries, JSDocs is essential because it helps others understand and use your code just as you designed it. The same principle applies here. But instead of helping other developers, you are helping the AI. In Agentica, documentation isn't just for humans. It guides the AI itself. It's how the system understands and navigates your code base. When a request comes in, the AI reads through your function descriptions to figure out which function to run, and after executing it, uses the same documentation to explain the outcome much more clearly. In this model, well-written documentation directly leads to smarter behavior. When you add a new feature, there's no need to manually wire up the logic or define the workflows. You just write the function and describe what it does in comments, and that's it. If the function depends on another, simply mention it in the description. Agentica will infer the connection and handle the orchestration using the LLM. This document-first workflow feels surprisingly natural because you're not adopting a new framework or learning a new paradigm. You're just doing what typical good developers already do, writing clean code and documenting it well. And Agentica transforms that into a fully functional, intelligent agent. So, the more you document your code, the smarter your AI agents becomes. Check out the docs and visit our GitHub repo and see how far you can go with just the good code and the right foundation. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like and subscribe. And if Agentica sparked your interest, drop us a star on GitHub. It really helps. We've got more exciting and developer-focused projects coming soon, so stay tuned.